Hello everyone. I was gonna say happy Friday, but it'll be happy Sunday when you see this. So happy winter in this area. I'll tell you what, it is cold. Anyway, and we had some snow, a snow squall this morning, but it's ended and the sun is starting to come out. But it is cold. It's going up to 40 Fahrenheit, and tonight it's dropping to about 20 or 21 Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's like winter, not fall. Okay. Anyway, off that spiel. So, if you watched my video called Napkin Swap and Winnings from Left-Handed Crafter, you saw me show 10 pieces of A2 size card fronts, designer papers that I won from Brandy, who is Left-Handed Crafter. These are the only two I have left. I have used the other 8 and made 10 cards. Here's 2 bits I have left out of 2 of them. And I had a few other little tiny little slivers. I actually tossed them, sorry. They were too small to use for me on anything. So, let me just show you my cards. They're all a little different. And the first 2, I sort of went with this design. These are called Seize the Sketch, and it was seizethesketch.blogspot.com. So I sort of went with this one for cards 1 and 2 and this one for card 3, and then I kind of ignored sketches and just went with what I felt. So yeah, I just thought I'd let you know. So that was Seize the Sketch number 20 for cards 1 and 2, sort of. I changed them somewhat. And card 3 was Seize the Sketch number 22, pretty much that way. Yeah, that one's pretty close. Okay, so here's card 1. This is a paper that had wreaths on it on both sides. But what I did, and I've written everything down and put it on a sticky note on the back of the cards. Look at that. I did use Stampin' Up! Products, and I'm going to identify them where I use them, but I also use some non-Stampin' Up! Products. So this is thick, very vanilla cardstock. This is real red cardstock. This is on regular very vanilla. This had already been stamped out. It's in real red though, Christmas Wishes, so I had that and I just pulled it and used it. And this is a Craftsmith Hot Buy paper pad from 2017 that I have been using in a different collab as well. Hang on, it's this one, and I used here this I think it was the middle green. Actually, the colors are a little off there, but yeah, it was that one. So there's only 3 colors. There's the bright green, the middle green, I'll call it, which is close to garden green, and then the dark green. And I have a few scraps of that left and things too. Anyway, and then on the inside, this stamp is from the Twal Tidings stamp set and Christmas Cardinal die set. It's a bundle in the holiday catalog, and this is out of that same set as well. But on this front, I used the Tin Tile 3D embossing folder from Stampin' Up! As well. It looks like that. And yes, I bought a new light yesterday because it was dark on the right hand side of my desk without the other one working. So it's not my power strip, it was the light. So I got a new one, and I know I needed a regular daylight lamp, but that'll have to wait. You know, one for videoing proper. So anyway, that is card number 1. And oh, this is I don't know if I said that. That's real red ink with real red paper. Okay, yeah. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. Okay. Card number 2, again the wreaths, but I brought in another piece of paper that Brandy had given me. These are cut in, I think these are cut in Stampin' Up! Let me get my little sticky thing. Stampin' Up! Garden green, I'm pretty sure. Actually, yeah, garden. Well, I think I forgot to write that down. I wrote, it was the Peaceful Boughs bundle that I used for this, for the sentiment And these dies that cut out, there's 2 pieces in there, the smaller. Let's see if I can find it for you. I have them all here in a pile. Just a second. It was the die that goes with this, but I didn't actually stamp it. Here's the sentiment I used on the inside, and here's the one on the outside. No, that's not the same. Okay, I used the same sentiment as 12 Tidings on the inside of this one, but this came from Peaceful Boughs, and I used the die that's in here in the Beautiful Boughs dies that goes with this stamp set for the background. This was a spare little piece that was loose off the shimmer ribbon 1/4 inch that is available only now in November while supplies last. For it's part of the Christmas Time is Here suite with the roses and things, but I don't have the suite. I just have the ribbon and some embellishments. And these are from the 12 Tidings glittered enamel dots, and I use them on several cards. And these are the real red ones. It's real red and garden green, which is perfect for the papers I'm using and things. So, and I just on the inside I used another piece of that same cardstock and then put regular Very Vanilla on top and stamped it in real red. So that's card 2. And then remember I said I switched from, and see I did change this up because they both have 3 strips, but they both go, well actually this looks like it has 3 strips, but this is one single strip in the middle, so it's a little different than this. And instead of an oval and another little one, I just used this banner here. And then this one does have 3 strips, and I glued them down onto that medium green, I'll call it. So that more closely resembles, but then instead of an oval again, I just used my Starburst punch by Stampin' Up. And I stamped it in garden green. Let me see, I think I used real red on the inside. And I used the same inside sentiment for all 3 of them, and that was out of the, what did I say on the first one? That was out of the 12 Tidings, so let me show you that. That's the one with the 12 Christmas, excuse me, here, down here. That's the one with the cardinal and the Christmas cardinal dies. So I used that. I bumped it up on dimensionals, and after I folded the ribbon through, I think that came out really pretty actually. So yeah, anyway, that's the 3rd one. And so far I've used a couple stamp sets. And what did I say actually? Put that back on there. 12 Tidings, and the first one was it said 12 Tidings also. Oh yeah, it was 12 Tidings also. But the Season's Greetings came out of Peaceful Boughs. That's what it was. So we had 12 Tidings. We had Peaceful Boughs, which I've already misplaced. Anyway, you get the idea. Okay. I don't know what I did with that, actually. That's so... here it is. That's so bizarre. Peaceful Boughs and Beautiful Boughs dies. Okay, so that's what we used so far. Then I pulled out the candy cane paper that Brandy put in the pack. I used real red, and I was going for this one. So it had a rectangle going sideways, but I layered it. And then it said any shape, but I used a square because that's what they had used. And I was going to put washi across here, but I ended up putting a strip of just real red paper because I had one. And then again, these glimmer dots. So all this white paper is the Georgia Pacific 110-pound cardstock. It's 92 bright is the color. And it was a pack of, I don't know how many, let me see. 150 sheets that I had gotten at Walmart a year or 2 ago. So I used that wherever white was necessary, but I did find that except for this and the next card, The colors in the paper lent themselves more to very vanilla, and actually this could have gone either way, but it had sort of a balmy blue color, and that is the color ink I used, balmy blue, really pretty blue. I think it went very well. And inside I just had an extra strip, another piece of the white on top, real red, and that's that for that card. And then this one I used all but a little tiny piece I have left of the candy cane paper. Here I did use some washi, and I turned it the other way this time, the rectangles, but I still had a, you know, a rectangle on a rectangle. Here it said any shape, so I used rectangle on rectangle. This one I layered the paper onto real red. This one is just real red, and the washi I used came out of this Recollections Handmade Holidays, which I know I didn't pay that much for. It was probably end of season sale, and it was this one with the snowflakes. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. Which I thought showed up really red, or really good on the red. This is a piece of red cotton ribbon from Stampin' Up. It's in their annual catalog, and this stamp is from the Holly Jolly Christmas. May the magic of Christmas reach you this year. That's what that is, and that is on a layering oval in the same weight paper as what's back here, and it is bumped up on Stampin' Dimensionals. And then inside, this also came out of that same stamp set. I did it the same way, real red with a strip of washi. I inked around this white with the real red Stampin' Right marker, which is part of the Many Marvelous Markers marker set. And then I just stamped it in real red, and that came out right here. So I thought that was cute as well. And I like this one actually a little better, although I noticed I didn't put any bling on, and I may just put 3 little bling up here, sort of like I did here, but closer together and smaller ones. I'm thinking I might like that. It needs a little something something. Okay, then like I said, I kind of got away from the drawings. So, well, actually, oops, I kind of reverted back to the first one for the next card, because I had, remember I had used this stripe here, and I needed to use the rest of that paper. So I used it, what was left of it, and then I cut another piece of paper and put 2 strips on, and that was this sort of checked background paper. And then I kind of took the idea of this though, and took the ribbon that Brandy had in the pack she gave me, this ribbon, put a strip across the card, and then I used the Starburst punch in real red, and this is that white again, and I stamped Season's Greetings again out of the Peaceful Boughs, but I didn't put any, I kept it pretty simple. I didn't put anything in the back of that. It is bumped up on dimensionals though, and I did use the 12 Tidings glittery enamel dots in the holiday catalog. And inside I stamped in, this is Garden Green ink now, which I thought went really well with that paper. And I stamped the other sentiment out of the Peaceful Bells. May the spirit of peace gently fill your heart and home in this most wonderful time of year. And this is just a skinny little strip off these, because I actually had cut one of these just a little too thick, and I wanted them to lay, you know, on the card evenly, pretty much. And I did the same thing. I went around this card in Garden Green Stampin' Right marker. So that's that one. And then I guess we could say this one is still following this 3 pieces, but not exactly, because what I did here, first of all, I turned it horizontally. So this is the other piece of the checked paper. This is washi tape, and I don't know where I got that washi from. It's on a white plastic. I'm not exactly sure whose this is. I wish all the companies like Scotch puts their name in here, but I don't know where that came from. And then this little strip here and here, which I actually had to glue down, I had gotten it Tuesday morning in September 2017, and it's this little bee tape. not sticky at all. Would not have stayed on the card without some art glitter glue under it. But now I brought in the, let me find it, I'm stepping on it, I think. Nope. Most Wonderful Time, and I used Oh Christmas Tree Sentiment because we have Christmas trees. I also brought in the Pine Tree Punch. There's the number 149521, and I punched 3 times out of the darker color of that Craftsmith paper pad, and this one is glued down. These two are bumped up on dimensionals, except this one's sort of glued over the edge of that one. Here I put a little strip of that washi on the end of this and flagged this with the Triple Banner Punch, which I think I forgot to write down on my little note. So let me do that because I need to write these in a book so I have a record of everything I make, you know. And then this little star came out of the Most Wonderful Time, which came, it was a product medley, and it had the stamp set, some dies, some paper, these little stars, and I just put one of those stars on. And let's see if I'm, oh, Cherry Cobbler ink is what I use for this instead of real red. And same on the inside, and that also came out of Most Wonderful Time. And I just put another strip of that washi down at the bottom here. I didn't put the other little piece. And that fit just about perfectly with that strip and the 2 washis on the other side, either side of this. So that's what I did on that one. I don't have envelopes for those yet. Okay, then I think I bring in yet another stamp set. And I am starting to get away now from the drawings. So let me see which stamp set. Yes. This time I wanted to use the ornament paper that Brandy Left-Handed Crafter gave, and also the red check paper, which is similar to the green but in the red. That's sort of a deeper red. Oh gosh. It's okay. And then here I used Stampin' Up's Gleaming Ornaments pack, and there's 1 and 2 in the pack, and they are the sorry for the glare, the smaller one and the larger one. And what I used for them though was, one second, just knocked over what I was going to show you. Okay, sorry. What's this? I've had this in my stash. It had not even been opened until I used it for these cards. So this is from the Paper Studio, which we all know is Hobby Lobby. And I purchased this with my own money, probably in 2017 on clearance or something, with glitter. It's all glitter. 48 sheets in 6 colors. So there's like a darker green, which I used, this creamy ivory color, which is a real close match to Very Vanilla. And this is the red, even though it has pinkish speckles in it. But then it also has a little bit lighter green, and actually maybe that is pink. It's probably pink and this is the red. I might have used the wrong one. I did, but anyway, there is a red, and then there's also the white sparkly, and it's pretty decent. It doesn't rub off a ton, so I was happy with that. Anyway, you get 48 sheets. I know I didn't pay full price, so anyway, I used that on several cards, and after I punched some of the ornaments out of the green, I did use it as a backing on for both of these pieces, but I brought them up right next to each other. This is Very Vanilla actually, and I stamped using Garden Green, and that is from, like I said, Memories of Home. Wishing you a Merry Season, maybe I didn't say. And I think on the inside I used this one. Yes, May Your Christmas Be Filled with All the Memories of Home, again in Garden Green, and I just used a strip of the sparkle and a strip of the ornaments that I had left, and again the Twal Tidings here. Oh, and this is This was actually the second one of these cards I made, but this is the doodle twine from Doodlebug Designs. I've had this in my stash for ages, and I used the red and white stripe on this card. And what I did is I took a glue dot and stuck the twine down on there, and before I glued the glitter paper down, this was already on obviously, I tacked it down on the back of that too. These two are glued down. This one's up on dimensionals and this is up on dimensionals. And then I so this is tacked down with glue dot, mini glue dots from Stampin' Up, which are in a box like this, and also glue. And then the next one I did the same way, except that the piece I had of the, actually I think this was the first one. So this has a bigger checked piece and a smaller ornament piece, and this has a larger ornament piece and a bigger checked piece. Pretty simple design. And this one, instead of being on the green sparkle, is on that vanilla sparkle, which I also had used to punch these ornaments out of. I have two more extra blings on, and I didn't do it in a straight row like I did there, and all the ornaments are bumped up on dimensionals instead, as this is. And also I used the red, green, and white because I realized after I did this one that this is really a very vanilla, not white, and this doesn't look as white, even though it is, as the red and white does. So I switched it to that. And inside, same thing, except I used, instead of the ornament strip, I had a strip of the check with the glitter paper. But I realized it after I put it down, I used a piece of green glitter paper instead of the ivory, but it's okay. It looks good, right? It looks good. Okay, so, and I don't have an envelope for that one yet either. And then, two more guys, sorry. Then I went with the Christmas tree paper that Brandy had sent me. I had this piece, it was a little bit longer than this, of the vanilla glitter, and I had this strip of the lighter color of green from that paper, Craftsmith paper. I pulled out another lighter piece. I think this was like a bigger scrap, and I cut it just to put like 1/8 of an inch all the way around of light green on top of this dark green. So under the trees is a lighter green, under here is a lighter green, and then I had the tree paper and the sparkle paper. This is Oh Christmas Tree out of the Most Wonderful Time again. And I put that on one of the darker paper strips that matches what I made the card base out of, which is, in this case, the darker green. And then on the inside, I had a strip of tree, but I matted the lighter green again, a piece of very vanilla, I think. It's hard to tell sometimes. Yeah, because here's the white I was using. No, I don't know. I'm not sure now. I think that's all very vanilla. And Hope You Have a Wonderful Christmas is also out of Most Wonderful Time. Again, using the pine tree punch. Yeah, very vanilla cardstock, very garden green ink. Very vanilla envelope soon, I say. And dimensionals and mini dimensionals and glue dots. This is the ribbon Brandy gave me. I used a glue dot and a little liquid glue to hold that on because it's glitter paper. Dimensionals for this. And I think I was meaning to put a little star on here. Let's just, one of those same little stars that I showed you earlier that I don't know what happened to now. So I'll find them, and I think I'm going to put a little star right on there and maybe one here. We'll see. I don't know. It doesn't really need it, so I'm not sure. Oh, and here I took this little tree out of here and I just stamped it part way on this cardstock. And I stamped off once to make it a little bit lighter than sort of matching the color of the trees in the paper a little better, because this is more matching the color of the card. Okay, so that's what I did on that one. And the last one that I did is this. I had this piece of red polka dot paper left, I actually ended up cutting it just a little bit too short, and I used that piece on the inside. I meant to cut it just so you had 1/8 of an inch all around up here, but anyway. This is actually a Memories and More card. Like, you know, they're like, what do they call that? Project Life. They're like a Project Life card. I pulled out of the Night Before Christmas Memories and More card pack. And I mounted that on a piece of Very Vanilla cardstock. And then mounted that on this red polka dot, which has some black streaks, like almost like distressing running through it. Used Real Red with the Starburst punch, Very Vanilla for the Merry Christmas, and that goes back to the Perfectly Plaid, the one that goes with the Pine Tree punch. I love this Merry Christmas font. I stamped that in Real Red, and here I did use 3 of the little stars, and this is the Very Vanilla metallic edge ribbon, and the Very Vanilla has gold edging, and then there's also a Whisper White one, but that has silver edging. So that is what I did on that one. And then inside I just used the piece across the top. I cut off too short, and I think I had like a sliver on either side, and I tossed those because they were too small. And I got this a little crooked, but I'm gonna go with it. And that was also out of the Perfectly Plaid stamp set. Yeah, so this is on Very Vanilla thick cardstock using regular Very Vanilla. Actually, this had already been punched and it was in my scraps. So this is the Starburst punch, the 2-inch circle punch, the ribbon I already mentioned, and Real Red ink is what I use for that, and the sentiment. So those are my 10 on the 10th cards, and I could have made the last few. I was trying to get 2 out of each paper, with the exception of the last 2. I only did 1 card each because I already had 8 cards, and because I could, and I didn't use 2 of the papers, but I will plan on using them soon. Let me put this over here. So I'm going to try and get these all laid out for you. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think they're going to fit, guys. Anyway. So, yeah, that's my cards, and that doesn't even show, does it? Hang on. I know. There. Sorry. Christmas tree. Oh well. Anyway, you get the idea, right? And then I have these 2 papers plus this little bit here left that were in the 10 A2 size cards, and here's the star, so I can put that on that tree. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope oh, and Paige and I are doing this in November and December, but Kim of Metal Scrappin' Chick has taken a break for November and December, and then she's thinking of, I haven't seen an official video yet, but she was going to restart it in 2020 as an official collab, and it is Christmas cards, 10 on the 10th. So every month next year we'll be making Christmas cards on the 10th for you. And I will most of the time be using Stampin' Up! Product, I think, as long as I have product. The problem with that is I will only be able to use stamp sets that carry over or that are in the current annual catalog. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes, because the papers generally don't carry over. So I won't be using those for the most part. So that's why I said we'll see how it goes. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Hugs, love, and peace. Have a wonderful week ahead. Bye for now. Merry Christmas early.